The St. Lucia Social Development Fund presents Sons and Daughters of St. Lucia, the Land, the People. Today's program highlights Heraldine Rock's growth and her contribution to St. Lucia. The year 1830 seems so far away. But when you think of it in terms of people whose lives have touched ours, it is only as far away as the late Heraldine Rock's great-grandfather. Those were the years when rumors spread like wildfire that the governor of Martinique had offered asylum to all slaves who could escape from St. Lucia and reach Martinique. Needless to say, the results of the inquiry that stemmed from this rumor remain unknown. The important historical fact, though, is that slaves did try to reach Martinique, and each time they were caught and returned here. But of course, these were also the years that heralded the abolition of slavery. Laws were proposed to make it difficult for free people to own land or house. By 1849, enough was enough, and some representatives of the working class came together in perhaps the first organized form of political action, the first revolt of its kind, later called the 1849 Tax Revolt. 8 people were killed before it was over. This is still not the St. Lucia that Heraldine Rock knew. More than 100 years later, her struggle was of a different kind. Born Heraldine Gajada on July 28, 1933, she started off her professional career as a teacher and part-time farmer in the banana sector. She taught for 15 years, serving at, among other schools, the Methodist School on Darling Road. Heraldine took on the mantle of adulthood very quickly, and by the age of 20, already motherless, she became head of her family of 10 children. By the age of 23, she was left completely in charge of the family estate. Not only did she thrive under these personal challenges, but she also became an active community builder. She was an integral part of her community in the Castries Southeast constituency, a major hub of the banana belt of St. Lucia. This was the platform which catapulted her into history as she blazed an extraordinary trail of firsts for women in leadership in St. Lucia. She was a female pioneer in local government and was the first female to sit on the Castries Town Board from 1964 to 1974. In the 70s, she was the first female vice president of her party, the United Workers' Party. She was the first female to be elected into the House of Assembly, changing the course of history when she made her political debut and won the Castries Southeast seat on May 7, 1974, against a formidable political opponent, the now late George Odlum. She was also the first female Minister of Government when she held the cabinet posts of Minister of Housing, Community Development, Local Government and Social Affairs, with responsibility for groups' needs, cooperatives and the Provident Fund and water. Ma Rock, as she was more popularly known, was a giant of a woman on the St. Lucian social and political landscape. She was not anyone's token female in power. She passed away on August 31, 2012, after a brief illness. During her lifetime, the government recognized her contribution by naming a building on the Castries waterfront in her honor. She also contributed to developing communities through the building of a number of community centers in St. Lucia. A strong character and a hard worker, determined and disciplined. These are only some of the characteristics that defined the life and the contribution of Mrs. Heraldine Rock to St. Lucia. Join us next time for another in the series of Sons and Daughters of St. Lucia, a program designed to highlight various aspects of the lives of people who assisted in the development of our island, St. Lucia.